Hi, I'm Julieann Hartman, and welcome to The Journey. Now, I've got a very special show for you. This is a story about Diana Hodge that came from Sharia law and years later into the love of Jesus. And it wasn't shown to her by going to church. She wasn't given a Bible. The Lord literally came into her room and presented himself. And what I love about this story is that no matter how many times she was beat as a little girl all the way up to adulthood, she still knew that there was something out there besides what her family believed that could set her free. Welcome to part one of the Diana Hodge story. Well, welcome to the show, Diana. Thank you so much for coming. It's going to be amazing, and everybody's going to be so blessed by this story because I know I was when I first met you. So, Diana, let's start from the very beginning of, what was your spiritual background as a child growing up?
Great. Thanks for inviting me, Julieann. So I born and grow in a Muslim family. And of course, my father's generations were all Jewish, and they forced them to be Muslim in Iran years and years ago.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and then they taught us that never say a word about Jewish. So it's a great persecution in Iran and about to being anything but Muslim. So Muslim is their identity. And I grew up with extreme Muslim religious family. I had a very nice parent. They both now pass away, but they did not know any better. So they forced us to pray. And if we did not pray 5 times a day in the Muslim ways or fasting, we end up in a trouble. So they discipline us and they beating us
Oh my
to
gosh.
be in, obedient to Allah, which is the God that they knew, and they introduced us the God that, so mad at us all the time. And I don't know why. He's only speaking Arabic, and I'm Persian. They forced us to learn Farsi. They forced us, I'm sorry, to learn Arabic in order to speak with God because he knows only Arabic. So that's raised a lot of question in me when I was a child about.
Gosh. So, Diana, how do you go from all this limitation and all these religious rules and all this blindness into the crazy, out there, loving Jesus Christian? I mean, when I first met you, what I loved about you the most is that you will, wherever you are, it doesn't even matter. When you start praising the Lord, the roof comes off the of the house. So let's now go and start from there. So that's all you knew. Did you have any friends that were like closet Christians, underground Christians? Did you know anything about Jesus, anything about Christianity?
I never knew anything about that, and we didn't have any neighbors that they know about Christ. And the only thing I can tell you, that is in our religion class in third grade when I've been 9 years old. So they taught we have a 5 prophet, and number one is Noah, number 2 is Abraham, number 3 is Jesus, number 4 is Moses. I'm sorry, Moses, and then Jesus and Muhammad. So they all, I learned about Jesus very little tiny when I had 9 years old in a class. So, but they never told us that who Jesus was, and it's just everything about hidden thing about that he is a son of God. We never knew that as he is a son of God and God himself. That's the only thing I knew, that he's one of the prophet. As Muslim, right,
Okay.
we knew that he's one prophet. That's
Okay.
it.
All right. So now what was life like? Did you have siblings? Do you have siblings?
Yes, I do. I am number 9, and I have included me 11. We are 11
Oh
siblings.
my God.
Big family.
Wow. Now, just really quick, are you the only Christian in your family, or did your family members come to Christ?
Yes, I'm the only one, and then all of them, they rejected me immediately when they hear that I gave my heart to Jesus, and I was out of the country that time. So they they it's just the religious things that they
Right.
blind, but I'm standing in faith and holding on the word of God that that's me and my household we will serve
Wow.
the Lord. So they
You are
are
a strong, courageous woman. Okay, so let's start now. So the only thing you really know about is in third grade, you hear a little bit about Jesus, but it could have been some guy named Bill, for all you knew. It's like, wasn't a big deal. So now how, what was your life like? Basically on a daily basis growing up.
So I grew up really in a very religious, I mean, very darkness time that a lot of questions in our family. Nobody can have right to ask question about God because God is a very angry God. And remember, He's ready to punish you the moment that He sees that you're doing mistakes. So every single thing should be perfect, or else wait for the punishment of God. So I just
Oh
want to
my
tell you
gosh.
mentality, when you grow up in this mentality, what it tells you, it means all day long you have fear that you would do something that mistreating God, and He's going to be angry and He will come after you and beat you down. So that's how I grew up, with fear, with a lots of anxiety inside of me. But I wanted to know the truth, and I asked over and over that why I'm talking to God, but I never hear His voice. But what is the purpose that I'm fasting? And I never receive anything out of it. So my heart is just seeking that something else more than this religious activity could be. And then when I did not find out, actually in 19 years old, when they arranged married in my family, me with someone that I never know or never date with him. And but finally I get out from my house, our house, my father's house, and I live by myself with that husband that they chose for me. And then I give up from God.
Okay,
And
wait. So hold on. Hold on. This is so foreign to us. So they chose your husband for you.
that's
How,
it.
what is that like? I mean, gosh, that is just beyond me. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. Growing up as a teenager, were you allowed to date? Were you allowed to talk to boys? How did that work out?
No, in our family and many other religious family, we don't allow to talk to boy. We don't allow to talk to our cousins, any man in our family, except my brothers and my father. The rest of the family member, even cousins, they are just foreign to me, and I should not sit with in one table and eat with them, or I can't talk to them. So it's a very hard discipline in us. So we cannot talk to any boy when we're going to the school. Of course, the school was only designed for girls or boy. We didn't have a mix because of Islamic Sharia law there, and it still is the same. And it's just interesting question. When we were going to the school, I remembered over and over that the boys in just like in our area or on a way that go into the school, they just say a word to me, for instance, you are beautiful, or how crazy you are, or they say different word, either curse or either good, but it doesn't matter what word they say. If some of my family member, they just see that that boy start to talk to me, even I don't respond, I'm in the trouble. So
Oh my
they
gosh.
they and it happened when they told my mother and my father that, hey, it's because of her, so everything happened to me, it's my fault. Even the boy is just coming to talk to me, it's not there, it's just my fault. So that's kind of darkness I was in there. And I was not able to defend, because every time that you defend, then you're going to be in a worse trouble. So they beat me many times, and I just say beat, not discipline, because that was really they didn't use the rod of discipline. They used They use a big old, belt that is so hard and it's just harsh on your skin. And when they get angry and they just bit me all the way, my body and my breast, and so it's just a shameful thing to a girl. And doesn't matter wherever, if your head, if your body, if your feet. So that's how they angry. And this that spirit is horrible. I mean, they were so angry. And because I have, for instance, the couple picture of artists, so means it just looks like crazy for American culture, but this is the truth. And I just passed this time, praise God. And because I love singing, I'm a singer. And God gave me the beautiful voice, and my family, they knew that I'm singing. So many times I end up in trouble that they beat me because I'm a singer, and I'm not singing anywhere, just at home. But because of singing, I end up in a big trouble that later I can tell you how big was. But just having the little picture of artists, or having the music in my pocket, or they found out this thing, I was in a big trouble. So for them, I'm like a black sheep on the
I
family.
was going
They
to say, like the rebel. Yeah, like the
rebellious.
rebel of the family. Wow.
And then
Did any of your, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 4 brothers and 6 sisters.
So did anybody else aspire to do anything like something like that, in the creative world at all? Or were you just the only one that was really pushing the family?
I can tell you now what happened to my sisters, who's older than me, because the distance is just like about 16, 17 years older than me. So perhaps they got maybe, but I did not see any of it, because
Okay.
all my sisters and brother also, they were with my parents when they disciplined me. They agree with what they did to me. So I definitely can say, no, none of them were rebellious as me.
Okay, so you were an artist. How would you even get like pictures, or how would you get music and all of that? Were you allowed to listen to the radio? Were you allowed to listen to, you know, the
That's
TV? Like, how did you even get a hold of that stuff?
that's a good question. So my dad was very religious, and he barely just allow us to even watch the TV, but he knew what we were watching. But and then that time we didn't have a network, a big network, as you see right now, no internet and this. But we had a very video, like the radio cassette. The very old time they had a radio and cassette, and then all I have just borrow the cassette from my neighborhood. So we're living in a very high end place neighborhood in Iran, in Shiraz, which all of our neighbors, they were um, open eyes. And I mean, I can tell, okay, well, they all been educated, they've been in America, Europe, over and over. So for them, Islamic things, it's just the religious that they didn't care about it. So, and they were very nice to us. We are the only family super religious on that neighborhood.
Oh,
So
okay.
their children allowed to watch video or whatever, and then the cassette was there. So of course, what we want to do it, we will do it. We took from them, and then we just hide it under the blanket, and listening to it, and then until they catch us, and then that's the time that we're really in
Oh
trouble.
my gosh. And you suffered lots of consequences because of that.
Yes, a lot of beating and
So how
abuse.
did you know that you had this amazing voice?
So when I was 5 years old, my sister, my oldest sister, she recognized that I have a good voice, and she was involved with politics. So she taught me, and then because at that 5 years old I didn't know how to read and write. So she's singing it for me that I have to memorize it all. So I have a very good memory. I just catch all the word, and then she took me with the orchestra. Then I was singing, but that kind of hidden thing inside. that nobody knows. And my older sister, she has authority. I mean, my parents, they loved her, they adored her, and no matter what she's doing in politics, still she's acceptable. But she ended up also in prison that they gave her a death penalty. So anyway, go back to
Oh my
politics.
God.
So I was a singer for literally for politic reason, not any secular or whatever. So I was singing there when I was 5 years old, and
So your sister taught you how to memorize things through song.
yes, and
Oh gosh, that's really cool. Okay, so again, so now let's keep going. So are you singing in the shower? Are you like singing in your room? Are your parents hearing you? And what are the conversations about that?
uh, are you talking about when I was in my parents' house?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, our house was very big. So I can go outside. I can go, I had the freedom until 13 years old to go outside wherever I want to go. So we've been always outside and upper room, nobody heard us. So we had a very huge house. And I just singing and keep singing and keep singing. And and I like my voice. So
Well, that's really cool because obviously you didn't have any training,
no.
and that's just it's a talent, a gift that God gave you. So now what happened when you were 13 that things started to change?
They started to change because when I was 13, I started seeking love. So before that, I was a kid. I'll just do my life, and I had the best childhood. So all the drama happened when I started to be teenager and 13 years old, and my parents didn't know how to deal with it, and so it started all the drama. As I told you that, for instance, boys talking to me, and then I'm end up in trouble. So I start to hating my, what they are doing to me, and eventually it turns to hate my parents. So
Mm.
I hate them, and I did not know any better because the bitterness inside of me, I can't defend. I couldn't defend that what I am doing, it's right, and why you're taking all the freedom from me. I can't go to the school, so I've just end up in a room by myself, and I tried to suicide for all these things that's happening to me, which was no explanation except darkness and religious of Islam that
Wait,
leading my parent to do
okay,
that.
so you could, why weren't you in school anymore? They took you out?
Yes, they put a lot of restriction order on me that if I go outside, and I was all in fear because from the house to the school I have to take either taxi or walking, whatever. But it is possibility that boys coming and talking. It is possible, and then that time it was no phone, no mobile, or no such a thing. So, and then they spied me, my family member. They sent, because we have a large family, they send my brothers to follow me what I am doing. I mean, it's a furious time that you think that every minute of your life someone is spying you, and you have fear that not for you doing something, that somebody do something to you. And that's the end of my life. I mean, always I'm shaking. I wasn't a good student at school, and I thought that, so I'm not good enough to even continue to being in a school. And I could not take it anymore, shame, because every day coming back home, well, we hear that somebody with that clothes, even the color of the clothes of that boy, he talked to you. What did he talk to you? What did you told him that he pay attention to you? And no matter what was my answer, after that, a consequence. So just think about it, that you are in a fear, and you are alone like cat has no anything to defend on a corner, and you have a huge family to just come after you and beat you. So it just makes me, so I was in a deep depression, and it happened little by little. when I recognize that, all right, I give up from singing, all right, I don't listen to cassette, but all I have to do, read Quran. They give me a Quran to read and memorize that all day long. So that Quran made me more in depression that I did not know why, but I said that I thought that if I have a God in my life or Allah, my life going to be better. But the more I read, worse become on me, and that was a really hard situation that a lot of family that I'm crying for them now in Iran, that they are living in a bondage that they don't know even why. But now, by the grace of God, I'm saved, and I'm just, wondering that how can I help them to hear my voice? And there is a way, there is a hope. But anyway, I quit school because of the consequences that every single day I have to, and then I have no concentration at school when I go in there, because all the way I'm just thinking that, okay, what's going to happen to me when I go home? So all my grade was just low, getting low, and I thought that I'm not making it. So what is the goal to go into the school and then beating and abuse and being in a shame and your voice and scream every day going out and the neighbor hear you? So it was a dark season, and I end up to, well, I quit and I
So
hold
your
my,
parents let you quit school?
oh yeah, they really love that, because
Oh,
that's
okay.
what they want. That's what they
So
want for every girls. For
is
boys, it's
oh,
okay to
okay.
go to the college, that's okay to do anything. But for girl, no, no, no. So it was a
Why?
very,
Because the girl would be educated and maybe see that what's going on isn't right, or
that's
they
right.
just wanted you to be uneducated.
That's it. So they were very happy. But I was just stuck in the room. And what I did, because our neighbor, they were very educated, they all have a library. So I just borrowed the book from them, and I keep reading and keep educating myself at home. But it wasn't enough or satisfying me with the spirit of, especially depression. I'm in love with the depression that 2 times I suicide. I jumped out from the windows from the second floor on our house, and I was crying and I praying God. See, I was crying and praying God to forgive me because I want to suicide. And then deep inside of me, I knew that it is bad, it is hard, but I could not take it anymore. To being with that family, I hate them. I, Lord, you know that how much I love them now and I forgave them. But that time, that age, I just hate them, and I wanted to do something, never ever to see them again. And I thought that suicide is the best way. So this is my testimony from the suicide. When I stood up on the windows, about maybe half an hour, I stood up and crying and praying to God, give me courage to go and then kill myself. And the moment that I crying and I say that, well, I'm gonna go to you anyway, and I leave my hand and then just try to fall down, the hands come in and pull me back. That is that is so incredible. I didn't see any hands, but I feel the strength of the hand that pushing me back. And it was so strange that I thought that, what is that? And then I knew that was a hands the who pushed me back. And I
Wow.
stood up back. And then again I tried. And then again the same hands hold me back. And then wait a minute. I just tried to think all about that. What was it? And then I came down finally. I said, okay, I will pray more to take up this hand out, whatever it is, and I kill myself again. So I made a plan. I prayed in Muslim ways, that I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, asking God this time to be successful. And it is so crazy. And I was by myself. I locked the door and nobody knows what's going on there. And then the second time I did the same, it was about a week, perhaps a difference between the first time and the second time, and the same experience. When I go down and hold, just like I set myself free to go down, I feel their hands again push me back. No voice, no, not seeing physical anything, but I knew that there is a hand push me back. So, and that time I knew there is supernatural. There is something else. There's maybe some imam, which I knew in Muslim. They have 12 imam, and I thought that's one of the saint. Saint means imam or whatever. That's one of them that saved me. He didn't want me to die. So that was my idea in 14 years old, 15 years old, the one uh, I just could figure out that that saint saved my life. So I didn't do it again on that way
So,
to myself.
okay, so when you said you prayed to God, was that the God that we like? I mean, is that who you were trying to reach, or were you praying to the God that you knew in your own religious faith? I
No,
mean,
the God that I knew in my religious,
oh,
that's
okay,
the
okay,
God. On
yeah.
that time, that's the only God I ask anything. And even I have no result, but keep seeking and keep knocking the door. And I just asked that one. But God is so in love with me. Jesus
Yeah.
loved. And then later on, he came to my apartment when I was 33 years old.
Okay,
And
wait, no, hold on. You got to get there. No, we've got to work up to that. That's like letting out the punchline before it's time. Let's stay on that 15 years old, because this is what's so amazing, is to hear what happened later on. So, okay, so you're 15, you're depressed, so depressed, you try to take your life twice. You think that it's a Muslim saint that's holding you back. So where are you at now in your head? Are you still depressed? Do you still not want to be here? Are you having more hope? What's going on?
so I literally felt that there is another way to live, and there is a little hope in it, because that happened twice, and I couldn't be so blind to reject all, even in my religion. So I tried. The next trial was to be good with my parents, and to be obedient with them. So I walked down and I just tried to build a relationship with them. And every time I went to them, there is no forgiveness. There is no forgiveness. They did not forgive me for whatever they call sin. They didn't forgive me. So they hate me too. I mean, not hate of myself, maybe, or maybe yes, but their action and role, there never been love inside. And I never felt the hug of my father or my mother. I'm just crying because I'm overwhelmed how Jesus loves me. Forgive me, but I never
No, don't.
had that father that loves me, and that mother that protects me, and my father that protect me. But I was simply thrown out verbally and physically. It's just all abused. And I just say that anyway, it's my fault. I'm going to go back to ask them forgiveness. And when I asked forgiveness, my mother said, no, I will not forgive you. And you are like a black coin that has no value. And I think I remember that I say, I think the black coin, if you wash it, it's still going to be a coin that has value. So they didn't know any better. And again, I'm telling you, I'm crying because now where I am,
I
I just
know.
overwhelmed with the love of Jesus that can't even compare where I was, and how he loved me on that time that I did not know even him. So that's why I'm crying. And
No,
I
that's what I love about you. I wish more Christians were like you. You are so just excited and so in love with Jesus, because you know how much he's in love with you. And man, is that contagious. And more Christians that didn't go through half of what you went through should also have the same response to him. So you seeking your parents' forgiveness, they won't forgive you. Now you're like 15, 16 years old. Were you allowed to have friends during that? I mean, could you go outside of your house as far as like go to a friend's house, even in your teenage years after you had left school?
And no, actually, they put a very hard restrict on me that I don't have any connection with the neighbor because, of course, if I go there, I'll find a cassette and something like that this displeasing them. So as far as I remember, the more I grew up, the more it was hard on me that I can't even go outside. No, they lock the door, and they have a reason to lock the door. We have a backyard that and they have fear inside of them that might I will run away. And they felt true because I ran away. I planned to run away and not to stay there. So, and I did. When I was in 16 years old, I ran away and
Where did you go?
okay, that's a good story. It's a long story, but I'm
It's
gonna tell
okay.
you that.
We have time.
So I was middle of the night. See, even the phone conversation for me is not allowed. Everything is just not allowed. So out by myself is loneliness. It's just so hard to explain it, but it was total loneliness and left out. And I had a friend that she was my neighbor, and their number, the phone number, don't have a phone number all time, and it was 50130. That's a five number. And I have to dial middle of the night. Listen, middle of the night when everybody's sleeping, I just sneak out, and then I have to go there in the kitchen. In our kitchen, we have a phone there, and then dial it. So I have to count it. That remember the old phone
Yeah.
at home, you have to dial it. And so that's why I counted because it's dark. I can see the number. So, and then one of the night that she's the only girlfriend that I had, but my parent did not want even me to talk to her either. So it's a total disaster. I just tell you that. And then one night when I call her to talk to her and just emptied myself and cry and all that what happened to that day to me because she was also worried for me what happened to me. And then by mistake it was going to one number less, so it goes to somewhere else. And then one boy picked up the phone, and I thought that is her brother, and I crying and I said, please give to my friend's phone and I want to talk to her. And then he said that, but who's your friend? We don't have that name. And I say about my friend Shazad that I'm looking for her. And then he was say, wait a minute. He realized that she is means me. I'm crying and I'm just so in pain that that in the wrong numbers. And then I'm looking for my friend, and he said that, okay, maybe I can help you. You are calling a wrong number, but maybe I can help you and listen to your pain and whatever. So, and that's the start. And I just started crying and sharing a little bit of what happened to me. And so he started to cry with me too. And then he was 4 years older than me. And then he started to listen to me. And every night he said, you can call me and you can talk to me and I will listen to you. And the
Oh
more
no.
he become, I did not love him, but he just become in love with me because I'm just sharing everything in truth. And then he loved me. And I didn't know that he loved me, but I just know that I found somebody to listen to me. And I say, and then he said, I will help you to run away.
Oh
That's what
no.
so I
Diana. Oh my gosh. So keep going. Now the suspense is building.
So I ran away with him, and it's a very big drama. Hopefully, one day we'll make a movie out of how I
Yeah.
ran out, because our our neighbors' roof is all attached together, and it's just a straight. You can walk on a roof from your neighbor to another neighbor to another neighbor, and you will see eventually the road. I mean, the main road. So it's not like America to have the house just with a separate
Right.
roof. It is a separate house in Iran, but in some crazy way, they made a roof attached together. So all the four roofs, every four roof is just attached together. You can jump over and then go. And then I said, well, I know how to come. I say, I can't run from door, but I can maybe by somebody hanging me down from there. And it was so crazy that how I run. So he said, no, you cannot jump or you can't do it. You will die from that, third floor to come down. How can you do it that? So anyway, I sent in my clothes and my personal stuff with this one big suitcase, and then I sent it from that neighbors in the road that he was waiting for me there, and then I just sent it with a big rope, whole long rope, and sent down. And then he took the stuff, and then of course we have very hard time to talk the phone, and it's just everything restricted in my family. They are all watching me what I am doing. And
Wait, they were watching you as you were trying to leave?
no, I mean, they didn't know that what I did.
Okay,
Because
got
that
it.
was the middle of the night, so everybody's sleeping, and I have to sneak and do. And when everybody's sleeping, that's the only time I could do
Right, okay.
arranging the plan and all. But I could not run away outside because everybody's sleeping and they will find me. But I give my personal stuff at top of the roof, and my gosh, through that. And then I say, okay, tomorrow, like 5 o'clock afternoon, you're gonna stay there and someplace and with car, of course. And I just, in the moment that I see nobody is in the backyard, everybody's sitting in Iran, in Middle East, they love to sit in the yard and backyard, and they love that. And the door is in the front yard, and we have front yard and backyard, and everybody is just occupied there. I can't run anyway. And then I made a plan, and I say, well, I have a courage. I can do. I just run. That's it. That's all I did. And I told to my little sister, she was 1 year younger than me. She's the only one knew that what I am doing. And I told her that you're gonna end up in trouble, but don't tell them anything. And just don't tell them anything. You don't know anything, and you just stay safe. And I wrote a letter before I'm leaving the house that I took all the responsibility. I did this, I did that, but for you and for I, better to be separate and you don't see me anymore.
Okay,
So
stop, because we're out of time. All right, this is going to be a cliffhanger. Everybody's got to come back and watch part 2. So right now we're at the point where your clothes, your suitcase and everything now has been handed over to the stranger that you don't know, but you've been talking to on the phone. Everybody's outside and you're planning your escape. You wrote a letter and now you're ready to run. So we're going to stop right here and we'll come back for part 2. Thank you so much, Diana. I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear the next part of the story.
you're welcome.
Wow. All right, that was part 1. What a suspenseful story. I am so excited to hear what happened. Could you imagine this young lady running away from everything that she knew, her whole family? Oh my gosh, I know you can't wait either. I am in suspense about this. That was episode 1. We're going to do part 2 next week. You don't want to miss it. You want to find out what's going on because this girl is amazing. And the story of redemption is just beyond. It's going to knock your socks off. If you'd like to help us bring more stories like this, just like Diana's story, to the platform, please go to healingjourneystoday.com and donate. We could use your support. We thank you so much for watching. You guys are so awesome, and we appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week for part 2 on The Journey.